over at Leroy Discount Liquor at the Tops Plaza in Leroy. And
128 West Main Street, Leroy, New York.
128 West Main Street, Leroy, New York, in the Tops Plaza. And don't drink and drive, friends.
Yeah, all right. We are now going to be joined by the most famous,
The one, the only.
the most famous Nighthawks fan in the history of Nighthawks Nation. Also, I would say if there was a Hall of Fame for fans in the National Lacrosse League, I would induct him in the first class.
Yeah.
Tim Knabber. Knabber, thank you for calling in tonight.
How you guys doing, man? I
doing
feel
great.
like I'm blowing you off for too long, and it's always schedule conflict.
You know what? It's
I'm
totally
driving to
fine.
something right now.
We got you now.
Less, but,
It's totally fine, Knabber. We got you now. And this is good timing.
Really happy to be on the show with you guys, man. Thanks for having me on and inviting me over and over.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Knabber, good timing to have you on now. The Nighthawks had their home opener this past Saturday, falling 13-12 to the Toronto Rock. You got to carry out the Champions Cup onto the field with a couple other old, longtime super fans. Right before the banner raising ceremony. What was that like?
Well, I tell you, it was honestly surprising to me because, I mean, I have to apologize. I'm going to take a little moment on your show. People thought that I, invited people down there to do that. I was approached by the team. I didn't get to pick who was down there. And, some Feathersfield Ruffles, some people, were upset that I didn't invite them. And I'm like, hey, it was not my party to invite anyone, man.
Right.
I was asked. And actually, another fan let me know that the team was trying to get in touch with me because they must have left a voicemail, and I'm terrible at checking voicemail. So,
well, it's good to clear the air.
All right.
it was actually an amazing honor. I texted Kurt, later on Sunday and said, I saw this game out the window of my physics classroom in high school and didn't know what the heck it was.
Uh-huh.
And all the lacrosse I've played and, been a fan for so long. That honestly was one of the biggest honors of my life, and I was glad I could share it with my wife. And honestly, I wanted to be not just me out there. I wanted to be out there for every Nighthawks fan around the world.
Right.
Nice. Awesome.
Well, it's great. You can kind of represent, all of Nighthawks Nation, as we're called. So, did you get to watch the game?
The funny thing is, I mean, I'm there, but usually I don't watch a complete game until the next day.
See,
I
know
online or something like that.
I've learned this
always,
about
jamming
you.
around trying to make,
Right, I know.
make all the other fans have a great time.
Right, and I learned via Facebook. Now, tell me if this is true, that you're such a huge Super Nighthawks fan that you were so nervous during games 2 and 3 of the Champions Cup last season that you were pacing outside of the Blue Cross Arena because you weren't able to watch. Is this true?
I've still never seen a championship winning moment live.
I don't get it. Why?
Actually, I can't say that. 97 I did see, but that was not at the Blue Cross Arena.
Okay.
Arizona, I watched, on at the Water Street Music Hall. I watched that on, with a bunch of other fans there. But the past 3, nope. I saw it on TV, but I've never been in the arena. The last 2, I've been with Wendy Stott actually outside. It's one of those things where I don't know how to explain it. It's like the Bud Light commercial where it's only weird if it doesn't work.
Right.
Well, you know what? It worked for the Rattlers this summer.
Uh-huh.
I was outside McQuaid Stadium. I couldn't even see the field.
You're just pacing outside the stadium.
You could hear it though, right? You could hear what's going on.
Behind the bleachers, couldn't see the game. I was going by other fans' reaction for how we were doing.
Oh my god!
And then the Nighthawks the last 2 seasons when we've had hosted it, that it was amazing that. To hear it and actually to feel it. I mean, that's what I wish kind of people would get is you might hear it inside and see everything going on, but to feel that arena shake.
Oh, my God. It was rocking.
It takes you to the Spectrum down in Philly. It's just I wish you could bottle it or somehow present that in media and say, this is what you're going to enjoy if you come to a game.
It was that arena, the Blue Cross Arena, was rocking like – that was probably one of the top 5 or 6 loudest games ever was last year, games 2 and 3 of the championship series. Especially
Could you even hear yourself
that mini. I mean, that mini game when Joe Walters scored to tie it was so unbelievably loud, and then when Craig Point scored moments later to win it, it was unbelievable. That it really those are the the moments when you're at a sporting event.
Wait, did you just spoil that for him? I don't think he's seen it yet.
But those are the moments that really you do get chills up and down your spine. Like,
oh yeah, I mean, I just watched the championship game. Honestly, I never saw it. You see the little highlights and stuff like that, but I never watched it until Friday night this past week. And
well, it was a good game.
Yeah, when that final save, he had to 5-hole that last save to ensure it.
Right. Yeah.
And Calgary, I think,
oh my God!
everybody in the arena kind of held their breath.
They fired a shot off with 1 second left. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
kind of like in
and
Toronto when that happened. They scored.
Unfortunately, I've been around a long time, and man, up at the old lady up in Victoria Street there in Canada, man, in 2000 or 99, or I'm sorry, 2000, 1.1 seconds, man, that all came crushing back. I'm like, are you?
Yeah, this is what John was.
You gotta be kidding me.
This is what John was just whispering in my ear about.
Yeah, I was just actually saying that in the 2000. Was it 2002 in Toronto?
No, it was 2000. It was
2000.
the last game at Maple Leaf Gardens.
I was watching that. I remember that. I was like, no way.
And then
it was literally like, you got to be kidding.
Okay, I remember the game in Buffalo. I think the early 2000s where the night Derek Malowski got the possession with 1.8 seconds left.
Oh yeah.
And fired it over to Grant. I may have switched them up, but fired over to Grant, who dove across the crease and pumped it in to tie the game with no time left. And this was before they had replay in the NLL, and the referees walked over to the timekeeper and asked him whether the time was up before the ball went in the net, and he said, "Yeah, the time was up, and Buffalo won." It was such a screw job.
I remember that.
It was because the ball was in before.
I remember that.
This is going way back. I mean, this might be the last year of MILL, but what was it? 13.6 seconds down by 2, and down by 1, and we score with 2.1 seconds, and it's back at the face-off circle, and it's, I believe, who was it? It was, I think it was Kurt. I think it was Mouse to Bomberry score overtime winner over the Saints.
Oh wow!
And, I mean, it was amazing. It's the best face-off winning assist I've ever seen.
Wow.
And Mouse was right on or Bomberry was right on the back door, usually where Mouse, took up residence. But, yeah, it was amazing. I tell you, I mean, that's the thing, man. We're in our 21st season. The crew will be 20 years old next year. I'm like, man, I've been doing this too long. Majority of my adult life I've been doing this, but every November I'm kind of like, man, I just can't get jammed up for the season. I'm so tired. I got everything going on. My kid's getting older, and then the preseason game hits, and I'm like, game on, boys. Let's do this.
Ready to
go. Tell us about the crew for people that don't know.
Well, Nighthawks crew, we are the actual official fan club of the Rochester Knighthawks, signing our charter back in 1997 with the ownership group then, Rochester Sports Group, and Kurt's takeover. They've also honored that as far as I know. I've never been told any different. Mm-hmm. And essentially it's just, fans that are both here and around. We have fans in 13 states and 7 countries around the world that are Nighthawks fans. And some have lived in Rochester and moved away. Some have never seen a Nighthawks game, live. We have people in Australia that watch it online exclusively.
That's impressive.
I like
the only
it.
time they see it. And then we have soldiers that are around the world that see, that take the game with them.
Beautiful.
And they're wearing their Nighthawks stuff and
That's
villagers
awesome.
and stuff like that.
Awesome.
That is really cool. How can people join the crew?
Essentially, the best way is you can come to a home game. We have a table at every home game. Right at the top of the stairs, you turn right and go up the ramp just a little bit. We're right there. We have purple and teal tablecloths on our table, and you can sign up right there. You can also go on our Facebook page. We had a website, but it wasn't really getting the response we wanted, so we turned it over to Facebook. So now it's facebook.com/Nighthawks Crew, and that's KREW. And you can, I believe our sign-up forms are on there as well. You can always, I don't mind giving my phone out. Everybody in Rochester has it. So you give me a call. I'll get you the information. It's 585-645-5555.
Mm-hmm.
Nice and easy for everybody.
Yeah, that is very easy. I don't know how you got that.
How'd you get
Used
that?
to be 645 crew, but then I'm like, no, I have to do our,
And
I don't know with a C. And
also, Knabber, I don't want to blow up your spot, but if anyone needs their driveway shoveled, right?
Yeah, well, I'll be honest, man. I'm pretty loaded there. That's like, oof. I got a couple of big buildings downtown that I take care of.
Well, we need some more snow for you, though. I mean, we've been slacking a little bit. Or you got to move to Buffalo.
This week I'm good. But that's the thing. I mean, that pays. Quite honestly, I'm out there and it stinks, but I'm like, you know what? I'm paying for like a cruise or Rattlers and Nighthawks season tickets, and it's exercise. So
yeah, Mark.
Who cares?
Mark John Knabber is one of Rochester's hardest working snow shovelers. He's shoveling all of the corporate buildings, the government buildings downtown.
That's what's up.
Well,
Anytime he's working, like we get a snowstorm, he'll work 24 hours straight.
That's
shoveling.
What's up. That's cool.
Well, he's probably shoveling when he's supposed to be at the game and not
full-time
watching.
Definitely keeps you in good shape, though.
Right.
So.
Knabber, also, we got to promote. You do a podcast, much like ourselves, Hawk Talk, on blogtalkradio.com.
Yeah, it's Blog Talk Radio /Hawk Talk.
Yep.
And we start that up hopefully this week. Obviously, you guys know the tough of getting players and coaches and personnel and things like that. And there's some that we've had lined up that I'm like, right now it's just not a great time. Usually, Willie will come on, pretty early in the season, whether he's a Nighthawk or not. And I just thought, I'm not gonna pursue that this year. He stepped away from lacrosse for obvious reasons.
Absolutely.
But we're trying to get a coach or Coach Day, Coach O'Toole. One of those guys will usually pop in if Hazer can't. But we start up. We're going to be going Thursdays from 7 to 8. We're in our 17th year of Hawk Talk now. Gonzo actually started it way back in the day.
That's right.
Just on his, the initial, I guess you'd call it a podcast, but he just, talked into a recorder
pretty
and
much
put it up online.
that was the origins of podcasts, basically.
It really was. There was no real archiving. You kind of had to listen to the scratchy tape being played, on what was the internet back then. I mean, it wasn't close to what we have as the internet nowadays. He was one of the pioneers, man. He was on, I don't know what it was back in Rochester Cablevision or something like that. I remember seeing him, that came to his house and interviewed him and showed, just how he did it. So he started Hawk Talk so many years ago, and we're in negotiations right now, and he's got a signing bonus, so it's tough. I got to find some sponsors to get his signing bonus paid. But,
and also, Knabber, you're gonna like this. You also still run the Rattlers Rowdies, correct? Their fan club.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's honestly my first love is outdoor lacrosse and Rattlers Rowdies. I love indoor. I've followed indoor. Since '92, I'd say, with the Bandits.
Right.
I was a season ticket holder for them before we got the Nighthawks. And I love the Rattlers. Man. I think the guys are.
Yeah, you're actually a Bandits fan, Knabber.
We didn't have an option,
Oh man.
But the guys are just so approachable, and the guys, it's just like the Nighthawks. All these guys have other jobs.
Right. And that's what's
John
amazing.
Ortolani is a mixed martial arts fighter. When he's not facing off for the Rattlers, the guys in MMA. I think he might have been in the undercard for John Bones Jones, I think.
Okay, John Bones. All right, okay.
Now we have to say.
All right. John is in here hounding me because he wants to tell everyone that we know
just got some
John
Bones Jones news.
Beat
Daniel Cormier
in the UFC won what?
150.
Go ahead. John Bones beat Daniel Cormier.
But
this is your big spot. Let's go.
But the downside is that he
that's about all I know. And I know John Bones Jones. He trains in Rochester. I don't. All right.
Anyways.
But John Ortolani, he's the face-off guy for the Rattlers. He lives in Massachusetts. I think he might be moving to Florida because he got a contract down there to work for a sponsor. But he's an MMA fighter. You can go on his Facebook. And
that's really cool.
Yeah. And everybody on the team does something different. We got everything from science teachers to firemen.
And you're gonna